Okay, hello monkeys, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about the platform 2. Before I start this video, I want to give you a quick disclaimer that this video will have spoilers, so if you have not watched the movie, please make sure to click away. So with that being said, let's talk about the platform. So the platform 2 is not a sequel to the first platform. This is actually a prequel. So basically like Star Wars, right? This is made backwards. So this one is actually based before the first one, obviously, like I said. Um, and I so okay, first I want to say that this has a lot of hidden meanings that I haven't been able to understand until I saw a lot of like other people trying to give their own interpretation of the movie. And I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can. Um, but it is confusing. I'm not going to lie. So the first platform, honestly, like as many of you guys have known is was mostly about capitalism, which means like the people on top of the platform are the ones who consume the most, which left pretty much all the ones in the bottom of the platform without nothing. In the platform, everyone gets to choose their own plate, right? If everyone were to eat their own plate, theoretically speaking, everyone will be able to consume food, right? But it's not actually the case because even many people said that even if people ate their own food, there still wouldn't be enough food to feed everyone at the bottom. So it was very rigged, I guess you could say. It was false advertisement. Um, so in the first one, it was about capitalism. People just consume as much as possible, which left other people in the bottom without nothing. And that would go to the second one, which it tried to give a socialist perspective of everyone trying to consume equally. Now they did have many rules, very strict rules that if someone were to die on the top floor, you have to throw away their plate and not consume it. You would not have to break the chain. You have to communicate with the ones on top and the ones on the bottom. What was your plate, stuff like that. So that way they could be like respectful points of like not consuming each other's food. There were loyalists, basically speaking. So where am I heading with this? So uh, the comment that I saw is that in both of the situations, the platform, the loyalists and the capitalists and stuff like that, it failed at the end of the day, and it basically meant that regardless of what type of society, whatever type of government that we try to create, at the end of the day, it's not going to be there's not going to be any type of freedom, because there's so many people in this world that is going to be it's very difficult for everyone to coexist. There's so many different mindsets. There's so many different points of views, the way we act, the way we think, the way we talk, the way we just do stuff in general, live our day-to-day lives. It's so different that it's just going to be extremely difficult, basically impossible to coexist. So at the end of the day, you're basically going to be trapped, and the platform is like basically saying that life is just like a box that you can't escape, unless you end up dying, basically. Which goes to the end of the case of like, why was there a child at the end of the movie, which is basically the same thing that happened in the first movie, right? In the first movie, there was a child that they ended up finding in the platform, and there was not supposed to be any children allowed in the platform. In the second one, there was another one too. And once they reach all the way, in the second one, the woman tries to protect the child because there was like a traumatic event where she had like artwork, and one of the kids that was running around ended up tripping and stabbed himself with a dog statue, and she was traumatized, which led to the case of like, do I save myself because she had the opportunity to save herself and escape the platform, or do I save the child, and she ended up deciding to save the child, which she really didn't, because at the once the platform reached all the way to the bottom, that's when she was basically saying like, hey, you know what, I can't leave him there, I have to like go up there with him to protect him. And there was a bunch of like starving people in the bottom saying like, hey, you know what, like, you have to go, you're done, but he gets to have another second chance, which people were saying, like interpreting like us as adults, like we always like look for the younger kids and try to protect them, but there's a point in life where we just have to like let them go and set them free, and let them choose their own path and stuff like that. um and that's the way some people interpret it. I'm not 100% with that theory, but I do understand it, to a certain extent. So yeah, it's just very complicated, and it makes perfect sense because like even the people that were like she had three different, I believe she had three different roommates in this show, and all three of them were completely different, you know. You can understand their point of view, but at the end of the day, it was just like to an extent extreme from all three of them, you know. So yeah, I just thought it was like a very good movie. I think many people are hating on it a little bit too much because people were saying that it was basically like the same thing as the first one, and I can see it too. But it was same. It had a similar vibe, but it wasn't the same thing. It was like completely different, you know. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I thought it was like a good movie. The acting, I'll give it a solid like 8.5 out of 10. I had no problems with the acting. Maybe like some side characters weren't that strong, but like you can't be perfect, you know. So I give it a solid 8.5 out of 10, which is I think is a really strong score, you know. Maybe I'll give it a 9, but just like maybe because I know if I rewatch it, I might see like the acting maybe like a little not so solid. So 8.5 I think is pretty solid. Um, the cinematography, well, I can't really say much because it's just there was I saw like a lot of like weak CGI. But I mean, come on, it's just like I focus more on the story, but just to give it a, like I'll give it a 7, you know, because it was the same scene all the time. The CGI wasn't that great, so 7 I think is a pretty decent score. The story itself, I'll give it like again a solid 8.5 out of 10. Just because I know it has a lot of hidden meaning. The first time I watched it, like I was like, I don't really understand it. But once I started like looking at other people's point of views, that's when I was like, okay, I understand a little bit more, you know? Okay, I completely lost my train of thought. But anyways, this movie was very confusing towards the end. But 8.5 out of 10, I think is pretty solid for the storyline. And so I have acting, storyline, cinematography. And the movie overall, I think it was a solid 8 out of 10. You know, it was pretty enjoyable. I mean, an hour and 40 minutes, it felt longer than that. I'm not going to lie. Um, but still, like, I feel like the story was just good. Would I watch it again? Probably once every 3 years. So it's not a rewatchable movie, you know, but still pretty good. Anyways, I recommend you guys watching it. So please make sure to comment down below what you think about this movie. If you have any other theories that you want to let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. All right. See ya.